We got multiple massive Tesla news stories confirmed by Elon Musk, and you will want to click the like button because Tesla stock is up about 5% today so far. Today's episode actually might be the most important episode I've done in the last 3 months, so you will want to watch this episode. Because Volkswagen is literally facing a bankruptcy situation. Here the headline reads, "A declaration of bankruptcy, unions lash out as Volkswagen weighs possible German plant closures." The situation is really bad. Volkswagen's General Works Council said in a speech on Wednesday that the response proposed by the carmaker's management is not a disgrace. It's a declaration of bankruptcy, literally. This is massive news for us Tesla investors because this will allow Tesla to gain an even bigger lead over all of these European manufacturers. Oh, and check this out. Volvo backtracks on its 100% EV pledge. It's almost like there's a trend that we are seeing today. And in terms of massive news that Elon himself confirmed, Ashley Smart Summon is fire. It's actually out now. By the way, it's short for ASS. Elon. Oh, Elon. And then here's another massive story. This will benefit Tesla tremendously long term, believes Farzad, and I think there is a good reason to believe that. This weekend, the XAI team brought our Colossus 100,000 H100 training cluster online from start to finish. It was done in 122 days. Colossus is the most powerful AI training system in the world. Moreover, it will double in size to 200,000 in a few months. These are some seriously big accomplishments. Excellent work by the team, NVIDIA, and our many partners and suppliers, says Elon. Oh, and by the way, there's a new FSD version. This one is not to be confused with the old version, which was 12.5.1.3. The new one is 12.5.3. And Omar has feedback on it already. FSD V12.5.3 is really good. I wasn't asking for FSD to get better. I was already happy with 12.5.1. This is significantly more human-like and more lifelike. Wow. I can't believe this is actually happening. Who is ready for some ASS, says the main person in charge of Tesla's AI, Shook. So ASS is now shipping. And if you haven't gotten any ASS yet, don't worry. Tesla will provide you with a free trial of some ASS of your own. Oh my God, you will want to close your eyes for this one. I will be posting ASS pics and videos tonight, says Omar. Like I said, this is an important episode, but also, kidding aside, AI Driver, I give him a lot of credibility when it comes to judging actual FSD capabilities, and I haven't seen him overhype or say that things were actually worse than they are. And he says he is officially impressed by this ASS feature. So that's a pretty big deal to hear that coming from him. Anyway, it's finally here, the ASS feature. We have been waiting for it for so long, and now it's officially launched. Here's a statement from Tesla: "Buckle up for the ride of your life, except surprise, you're not in the car." This feature allows your vehicle to come to you or head to a spot that you choose all on its own. It's like magic, but with more tech and less wand waving. So I definitely expect to see a lot of minds blown by this ASS thing. Now, who do you think named this feature ASS? It has to be Elon, I believe, personally. Now, if you want to get this feature, make sure that your Tesla app on your phone is actually updated to the latest version. Otherwise, it's not going to work. And for those that really like digging into the details, here are the full release notes of ASS. By the way, I like this right here. Coming soon. Longer range. Currently, ASS is available on hardware 4 only, though. I'm looking at some of the footage of this feature, and it looks extremely boring, which is very good because that's what it's supposed to feel like when it works. And Omar right here is actually sitting in the back watching something on the screen in the back while the car is driving itself. I'm sure he's paying attention on his phone because you still need to be able to stop the vehicle if you need to, and you're still fully responsible. And here's some more ASS in action. Omar admits he is now an ASS man.
We're doing another actually smart summon test. You can see where the car is parked. I'm gonna go ahead and walk to the left side of the street over here. But what you can't see is this is actually one giant roundabout. But you should definitely not turn left here, and you should go all the way around the roundabout to pick me up from right in this spot. All right. It's not. Look at it go. It's going to go all the way around the roundabout. Oh my God, no way. Here's the live view from the car. And it's just driving over there. Oh my God, this is incredible. I'm literally getting chills right now. This is weird. Unreal. And look, it's even pulling over a little bit. Oh my God.
And Elon actually commented on the video from AI driver saying, cool, when you are doing a summon, you can see all of these cameras so that you can see exactly where the car is going. And I haven't seen Tesla bulls excited like this in a little while now. People are definitely excited. Oh wait, it actually seems like Smart Summon is available on hardware 3 and 4. Omar just did a 10-minute video comparing the performance between the two, and he says it's basically the same on both hardware 3 and 4, and the wide release is actually happening next week. And it seems like it's the same size model for hardware 3 and 4. And with the actual Smart Summon, the car can come to you, but the car can't park itself, not yet. So how long did it take for Elon to deliver on the actually Smart Summon? Well, in 2022, in October, he said it's almost done. Here we are, about 2 years later, actually having it. Wow, well, this is... I mean, the way these headlines are written, sometimes I just look at them and it's just... Why? Woman using hands-free driving feature hits car, killing 2 in Pennsylvania, cops say. Notice how Ford is missing from the headline entirely. I'm actually surprised the title wasn't woman using Tesla Light hands-free driving feature gets involved in this accident. This is of course another example of how the fake news manipulates narratives and how ad spend creates editorial bias. Moron in a Tesla does something wrong? Oh, Tesla is committing a genocide. Moron in a car whose maker spends millions on ads crashes. They say, person in car does something stupid. Legacy car makers combined spend billions annually advertising in legacy media, so the legacy media knows who butters their bread. In the meantime, Tesla spends close to $0 on advertising annually, so that's one reason why we are seeing that. Someone asked Elon, how was your day? How are you feeling, Elon? You're working so hard every day and I care about you. Tell me, please. Just leaving Tesla engineering office in Palo Alto. Mostly good, some bad. The future is going to be wild. There will be so many robots. There's also an argument between Cybertruck and the dirty Tesla account. No one cares about you, Cybertruck. Learn to drive. He was showing a vehicle that he can actually do a smart summon on, and this is why this conversation is looking like this, because the Cybertruck can't even park yet. So it's asking to teach it how to drive, and Ashok announced that we are glad that you finally learn how to park yourself. Looking forward to showing this off this weekend. So I'm looking forward to that. And now let's talk about this. Volkswagen will apparently miss its savings targets by several billion euros and is considering plant closures in Germany. The situation is extremely tense and cannot be overcome by simple cost-cutting measures, the Volkswagen brand chief said in a written statement. And Volkswagen said that it also felt forced to end its job security program, which has been in place since 1994 and which prevents job cuts until 2029. Imagine a job security program which actually makes the company not profitable, perhaps, or even basically starts discussions about the bankruptcy of the company, which then eventually leads to no job security for anyone. It almost sounds like an Inflation Reduction Act which increased inflation by increasing government spending. Interesting how these things are named. So Volkswagen is considering closing 2 German plants. One is a vehicle factory and the other one makes vehicle components. And the Volkswagen Works Council warns that all German factories under the group could be at risk. So not just 2 factories, all of them, with potential U-turns on previous investment commitments. So of course layoffs are in discussion as well, and the company announced that the job security agreement that has been in place until 2029 will be lifted. So obviously, Volkswagen, you know, the company that is struggling so much right now, is definitely going to save Rivian with its $5 billion investment, as Volkswagen is looking to cut its costs. But sure, that $5 billion investment is definitely secure. There's only one little problem, I guess, and that is, where will they get the money? So what is going to happen with that JV between Volkswagen and Rivian? Keep in mind that Volkswagen hasn't actually invested the whole $5 billion yet. It only invested a small portion of that. And if you read the whole thing, Volkswagen can back out. So this is major news for the EV industry, actually, and also unfortunate news for Rivian. Now, looking at the stock of Volkswagen, it hasn't really moved. I think quite a few investors are seeing the writing on the wall, and they're just hoping they're just going to extend the death by a long time, or postpone the death of Volkswagen by a long time. And now what's happening with Volvo exactly? Peter Johnson published an article on electric which explains its new plan. The company said stronger government support is needed to advance the transition. I disagree. I think no government support is really needed for EVs. It's an economic inevitability for most people to be driving EVs in the future because it just makes more sense. The cars are better overall and they are going to be cheaper. Although keep in mind that Volvo was one of the first automakers to set a 100% EV sales goal by 2030. The announcement was made over 3 years ago in March of 2021. And they wanted to phase out any vehicle that had an internal combustion engine, including hybrids. And they said before, instead of investing in a shrinking business, we choose to invest in the future. But now the new plan calls for 90 to 100% of global sales to be electrified, including EVs and plug-in hybrids. So they are including, they basically say a plug-in hybrid is just as good as an EV. The other up to 10% will be a limited number of hybrids if needed. I'm not seeing any specific figures on what's their goal on pure BEVs, so I assume they don't have any. Dylan commented on this news. We can actually make money with hybrids and the credits are crazy, so that's what we will do. The real question is, when will consumers realize hybrids aren't it? Back to Volkswagen. Volkswagen Group CFO spoke to employees today and said, we still have a year, maybe 2 years to turn things around, but we have to make use of this time, which they are likely not going to do because looking at the track record, well, they were a bit late when it came to electrification. And as we all know, they are really good at software. I mean, they are really good at spending billions on software and creating basically software that's pretty bad. He continues, simultaneously, we need to reduce the complexity of our processes and leverage even more group synergies. We have been spending more money at the brand than we earn for some time now. That doesn't go well in the long term. Oh yeah, if we carry on like this, we won't succeed in the transformation. Big news, I know. It is our joint responsibility to improve the cost efficiency of the German sites. In particular, we need to increase productivity and reduce costs. Oh, and the German government is reportedly planning a new EV incentive, which will be 600 euros per vehicle, so pretty small, but still. It appears the new incentive is triggered by Volkswagen's crisis. And now we have some more good news for Tesla. Tesla is continuing its strong performance in China, actually. It just delivered 14,400 vehicles and is only about 5,000 cars apart from last year. James predicts that the gap will be closed in September. The Chinese market is red hot. Gary Black calls the numbers solid. And as you can see, the deliveries are just really consistent. It's slightly below Q4 of the previous year, but remember that Q4 is usually a lot stronger, especially towards the end of the quarter, and it's slightly below Q2 of previous year, but keep in mind that particular quarter was very slow in the beginning, relatively speaking to this current quarter. So I say this is a good number. And if you missed the wholesale number, here it is, 86,600 units in August. This is the highest number since March. And here's a chart where you can compare this year to the previous year. This is from Bloomberg, I believe. Here's some good news for Tesla. California awarded $102 million for semi-truck charging corridor. The route is also expected to run through Washington and Oregon states on the west coast of the US, so it's not just California. The project aims to establish 34 trucking charging stations featuring 5 350 kilowatt chargers each. But here's the big news. They'll also have 5 hydrogen stations. By the way, 350 kilowatts for Semis? Isn't that a little low? Project does say pretty clearly that it is not going to have 1 megawatt charging, although the plan is to add these later. In contrast, last year, Tesla proposed this plan to also spend $100 million and connect Texas to California, so that's actually a bigger distance. And that project would include chargers which could charge up to 1.5 megawatts, which is a lot more. But hey, look, I still think this is good for Tesla because probably Tesla trucks will be able to use these chargers as well. But 350 kilowatts, that's a bit slow. I mean, the Tesla Cybertruck is going to be able to do that, but we're talking about semi-trucks. In the meantime, Denmark has just achieved another milestone as 10% of all passenger cars in the country are now pure electric vehicles, and Tesla holds a 37% market share among the top 20 EV models in Denmark. We got Tesla deliveries in Germany, and Tesla sold in August 2,370 vehicles in Germany. And before anyone says, oh, that's terrible, there is some important context to consider. In August, the entire German BEV market was down 69%. Wow. Well, keep in mind that these subsidies really helped in Germany before, and now you don't really have them. And even regular vehicle sales are down too. Petrol down 7.4%, diesel down 24%, hybrids are down 1.5%. But there is another important piece of information to know. Last August, so 2023 in Germany, that was a huge spike. The reason was that BEV incentives for business cars, which is most of the German sales, ended on September 1st, causing this huge spike. But since the incentives for private cars also ended last December, the BEV share has been relatively stable at around 13 to 14% in Germany. Ooh, and in Sweden, Tesla made a pretty big move. Tesla introduced 0% interest rates on the new Model Y. You can get the Model 3 for 2%, but you must have purchased your vehicle and have it delivered before September end. So basically this is a quarter end promotion. The strategy has clearly shifted from headline price cuts to push out as many special financing rates as possible. To be clear, this is a better strategy, but it's still a short-term band-aid on the problem without addressing the underlying issues, believes James. But the thing that would pretty much immediately solve all of Tesla's demand issues would be solving FSD, making it safer than human driving. And Tesla is definitely working on that. It just released this new FSD version, 12.5.3. However, this update is only for hardware for cars. Here's a list of all of the FSD updates. It's interesting how Tesla skipped a whole point release here pretty much. So the previous latest version was 12.5.1.5. We went from 0.1 here to a 0.3. There's no 0.2. Now, Omar, of course, is loving this version, and he pretty much loved every new version. And we still have people on older FSD versions, and Omar is begging the Tesla team release FSD 12.5 to the people. Frankly, this is getting ridiculous. The new driver monitoring system will save lives, and the longer Tesla waits to roll it out, the more people they are putting at risk. It needs to be rolled out as soon as possible, yesterday if possible. And relatively speaking to this, comparing this newer version to 12.4.3, he says 12.4.3 sucks. He says, what a cruel joke to make people use 12.4 for this long when 12.5 exists. Ooh, look at these renders. What do you think about these? Tesla is supposedly planning a 6-seat Model Y for China. The news comes just a few days after it was reported that Giga Shanghai was about to begin production of the 7-seat Model Y Giga Shanghai after Tesla received approval to sell this variant in Europe. And this new Model Y variant is scheduled to enter production in late 2025, and it is going to be specifically for the Chinese market. According to the sources that spoke with Reuters, Tesla has already informed its suppliers to prepare for a substantial increase in production at Giga Shanghai. Tesla is currently awaiting approval to expand the factory, a move that would enable the automaker to ramp up production to meet the anticipated demand for both the new 6-seat Model Y and the existing 5-seat version. And until now, the Model Y was only built with a third row in the US. So overall, that's a positive change that I like. And Tesla cars are now used like CCTV cameras by Oakland police. And this is going a bit far. In Oakland and beyond, police called to crime scenes are increasingly looking for more than shell casings and fingerprints. They're scanning for Teslas parked nearby, hoping their unique outward-facing cameras captured key evidence. And the Chronicle has found they're even even resorting to obtaining warrants to tow the cars to ensure they don't lose the video. In one example, they reported that a Canadian tourist had to plea with a police officer not to tow his Tesla to get the footage. I hope these people are compensated. Still, he said, tows are sometimes necessary if police can't locate a Tesla owner and need the video to pursue all leads. I'm happy to share any of my footage, but hey, if you tow my car, I expect some compensation. But if there's no towing, I can just give it to anyone for free if it's going to be helpful. No problem. Just don't tow my vehicle. And now let's talk about Colossus, which is the most powerful AI training system in the world, according to Elon Musk. And how is this relevant to Tesla? Well, the limiting factor says, in my view, although this is impressive, the significance is that Elon is building a crack-in-house team to set up new clusters as quickly as possible. I'm sure the team learned a lot doing this. And if you think that the Tesla team doesn't talk with the XAI team, you must be a new Tesla stock investor, or not an investor, maybe even at all. And they all can use those learnings to either drive down costs or set up the next data center more quickly, or both, probably both actually. As far as I'm aware, none of the other AI software companies have a hardware team like this. I'm looking forward to seeing XAI rocket past everybody else. Also, he has a very interesting choice of words here. I'm happy to see I wasn't the only one who went back to this part a few times. And Devin Kim, who's part of the XAI team, he watched it happen, and the rate of progress is still unbelievable. So to me, seeing XAI doing well, it means a few things. Also, Twitter or X doing well is also great for Tesla. It's great for Tesla because Elon Musk then is not going to be as focused on these other things, because if other things are doing really well, then Elon will just focus on where his attention is needed the most at the time. And FSD still needs quite a bit of attention from Elon Musk in the long term, I believe, so that allows him to focus on that. And then if XAI and X overall, if these make money, that means Elon Musk does not need to sell Tesla stock, and because of that, Tesla should be doing a little bit better in the long term. But most importantly, the engineers of X, I believe, are talking to the Tesla team, and if they find anything really significant, they're going to share these learnings with each other. And of course, anything that Elon Musk learns from XAI, he will apply to Tesla as well. And I'm personally happy to see that X has officially launched its TV app in the US, so you can actually browse X on your TV. And who could have possibly seen this coming after Elon Musk has called a certain political candidate a communist? This comes out. Tesla is the leader in brand loyalty, according to a new report from S&P Global Mobility. Tesla continues its run as the leader in brand loyalty with a rate of 67.8% for the first half of 2024. Customer loyalty has remained relatively constant. Great product results in great brands. I agree with Elon definitely here. Now, to be fair, if you want to be fully certain that there hasn't been significant brand damage after Elon's endorsement, we would need to look at the data after the endorsement. This is from the first half of 2024. I think James actually has some pretty good points here. First of all, what was the methodology to determine the loyalty percentage? Loyalty is determined when a household that owns a new vehicle returns to market and acquires another new vehicle of the same make, model, or manufacturer. The newly acquired vehicle may be either a replacement or an addition to the household fleet. This, of course, should come as no surprise, since the Tesla user experience is unparalleled. The car is fun, it is reliable, and it gets better over time with free OTA updates. No other manufacturer comes close. Loyalty, which is what the survey measures, is at the very bottom of the purchasing funnel though, and that's an important thing to understand. After the customer has already purchased the product and lived with it. After experiencing a Tesla, it makes sense that most would remain loyal. But a better way to measure changes in consumer sentiment as a function of brand and impact on sales is by looking at other sections of the funnel. For example, if awareness is kept constant, how many more or less consumers are considering a Tesla consideration, and how many of these actually buy one, conversion. If Tesla is to grow volume, it must attract consumers outside of its existing customer base. That said, I think Tesla's products are incredible and will always benefit from strong loyalty and customer advocacy. Where Tesla can definitely improve is in the very top of the funnel, awareness, to get more people into the funnel and drive higher demand from it. For example, what I reported here earlier, this is more at the top of the funnel. A national survey found that 33% of people are less likely to buy a Tesla because of Elon Musk, who has become far more involved with politics this year. And at the same time, 1 in 5, 19%, did say that Musk's actions had made them more inclined to choose a Tesla. This is specifically the UK market. Another thing that I would like to remind everyone about this, it's easily, I mean, you can upset or offend someone immediately, but to get people to like you, it's a bit more gradual. Think about a relationship between a woman and a man. For the relationship to break up, I mean, it can be done pretty fast, but for someone to get married, that is gonna take some time. It's not love at first sight, or it could be love at first sight, but the commitment comes a little bit later. So I would be absolutely flabbergasted if this percentage, which was a negative percentage here, or negative for Tesla, 33%, was exactly the same as the positive one. I would expect this number over time to get higher and higher and higher. But this number here, the 33% number, likely, although not guaranteed, but there's a good possibility that this already reached its peak. And this will be it for today's video. Make sure to like and subscribe if you haven't yet, and I will see you in the next video, probably on Friday.